Hello everyone, it's Batman here at isometrictraining.com, and I am back today with you to share some science because it's Science Saturday. And what we're going to be talking about today is some of the studies that have been done on isometrics that show that it produces the greatest increase in lean mass per time beyond any other form of exercise. I mean, this is insane stuff. And I'm going to talk to you today briefly about a specific protocol and a specific study that was done in 2006 by John Litte, which is very, very good evidence of this. And during this study, they used isometrics, obviously, and they messed around with a couple of different protocols. But what they were trying to do was establish the point in a length of time wherein the body adapts and creates and generates lean muscle tissue. So the study wasn't so much on which version of isometrics produced this result, just in general, when you produce an isometric contraction of a muscle, at which point are you going to get the greatest increase in strength over the course of a 2-week period. So what they did for this study was they used a workout to target the major muscle groups of the body. So they do a pectoral exercise, they do a bicep exercise, they do a tricep exercise, they do a row exercise, they do a quadricep, a hamstring, a calf, a glute, a back. So they're looking at the major muscle groups and they're doing an isometric exercise to stimulate each of these, okay? And they used between a low number of 5 and a high number of 11 sets. Now, the 11 sets were only used by 2 trainees who were already very used to isometrics and required an increasing amount of stimulation. And each trainee took their isometric contraction to a point of either positive muscular failure, negative only failure, static failure, or infinite tonic failure, which is a term Mike Mentzer developed, the great high-intensity trainer, to describe a technique wherein you would perform a maximal single lift concentrically, then immediately a maximal negative eccentric contraction. And then you would do that would be 1 repetition. Then you take a 10-second break to let the muscles clear, to replenish your glycogen stores, to get the blood flowing out, and this prevented lactic acid buildup, which prevents contraction. And then you repeat that for a maximum of 5 reps. So for instance, what that might look like isometrically is, say for instance, we were doing a bicep curl, right? So I might do an isometric bicep curl, right? And I do that as hard as I possibly can. And then I'd immediately do a tricep extension as hard as I possibly can. And then I'd give myself a break and right back into it. After 10-second break, do another repetition and do 5 of those. The pump from that is insane. I mean insane. You exhaust everything super quick, but it's really, really cool. And it's a really, really good protocol. And basically, they had everyone do that, just that workout, and no additional resistance exercise was done, right? So they just do their isometric contractions in those specific ranges for those varying rep times to a point of positive failure, negative failure, static failure, or infinite tonic failure. And that was all they did. And they didn't make any changes to their diet, they didn't make any changes to their calories, all of that stayed as it was. The only thing they did was this workout, this single workout. And then they did no other workout for 14 days. And what they discovered was very, very interesting. Firstly, there was no major decompression after 48 to, I think it was 48 to 96 hours. There was no muscular decompression, which is incredible. But what's really, really interesting is over the course of the 2 weeks, every single one of these trainees improved their lean muscle tissue, and the points they would peak on would be slightly different. So one trainee peaked with an increased muscle gain of 3.9 pounds on day 10, Another one peaked with an increase of 4.9 pounds on day 1. Another trainee peaked around day 11 with 2.2. But what was really, really interesting was between day 6 and 9, we see the greatest increase in muscle tissue, with one guy getting 9.3 pounds of muscle tissue added to his frame on day 6. Literally within 6 days, he had nearly gained 10 pounds of muscle, which is mental, just from a couple of seconds of exercise. That is insane. But it's not just the first time that this has happened. Oh, no, because isometrics are shown to do this over and over and over again. But this is one of the reasons why I recommend that people only work one muscle group once a week. This is there's a lot more other science to it, but this is one of the big reasons why I advocate this, because it's going to give you time to recover. So if you work out your chest on Tuesday, don't work out your chest again till the following Tuesday. Give yourself about 7 days, because that's how long it will take for the body to compensate and start building out muscle based on the average lean increases from studies like the Litte 2006 study. But there have been earlier studies that John Litte conducted with 10 weeks of isometrics, and this was performed with hardcore serious bodybuilders who had been lifting very, very heavy weights, full range, 3 to 5 rep range for a long, long time, and they were all averaging about 38 years of age. It's pretty much where I am. And the results over those 10 weeks were nuts. I mean, insane stuff. There was an increase of 9 pounds of new muscle tissue. One subject in that study got 29 pounds of muscle, which was crazy. There was a gain of about half an inch each on each bicep. There was a gain of 1.5 inches nearly on the chest. There was 1.2 inch gain on the shoulders. They lost 4.9 pounds of fat. They lost 4 inches, nearly half an inch off their waist. There was an increase in 51.3% in their static strength, and there was a 27.6% increase in their 1 rep max performed over a full range of motion. That's mental. And a 34.3% increase in their 10 rep max over a full range of motion. So there's massive, sizable, quantifiable, huge increases in their full range strength and in their static strength, literally with 10 weeks of just doing this. And here's the crazy part, right? That workout, that full body workout that they had trainees on, took 2.5 minutes. That's it. It was 2.5 minutes of isometrics. 2.5 minutes. And they got those level of results, which is crazy. In other tests, chest strength went up by 58%, back strength went up by 60%, shoulder strength went up 57%, quadriceps went up by 86%, ab strength went up 170%. I mean, these numbers are insane. The tricep strength improved 133%, forearm extensor strength by 93%, and overall strength increases were 84%. I mean, this is insane level of results. No other form of resistance training comes close to this type of stuff. This is all done with isometrics. And they were averaging about 2.2 minutes over the course of about 6.6 workouts in a 10-week period. And that totaled about 14.5 minutes of exercise total. That's it. 45, and this is in a 6-week study. I tell a lie, it wasn't a 10-week study. This one is in a 6-week study. So they did 14.5 minutes in total over 6 weeks, and they improved their strength by 84%. That's insane. So, isometrics, scientifically proven to produce the greatest increase in lean muscle tissue and in strength, but we're going to talk about that later, but the greatest increase in lean muscle tissue of any other form of exercise. That is crazy. Now, if you want to get access to these type of protocols, if you want to study these type of isometrics, that's all the stuff I have in 7 seconds to a perfect body. That's the whole point of the book. It's to produce and reproduce those protocols for you guys at home. So you can go to www.perfect-body.me and you can get started using that program that produces those types of strength gains. And I talk more about the science, and I talk more about how that works and recovery rates in that book, which is very, very good. And you can also look at the Samurai Strength series that also covers Samurai Strength Volume 1 in particular is very good for that. And then Samurai Strength Volume 4 is specifically on arm building and arm routines, very advanced stuff. And then if you want really, really advanced stuff, I have a program on occlusion training, which is where you cut off blood flow and circulation and then flush huge amounts of blood into a muscle. That's very, very advanced, but you can do serious intense isometrics using that. And I think that is Samurai Strength Volume 17 off the top of my head. And you can just go to samuraistrengthtraining.com and you can get access to all of those. You can check all of those books out there. And of course, you can stay tuned here for loads more free isometric training tips. I'm going to be doing more workout videos. I'm going to be doing more isometric videos for you guys. And I'll also be covering a lot on nutrition and supplementation. I'm going to be looking at that for you guys as well. And of course, if you have any questions yourselves on isometrics or isometric protocols for a particular thing, if you're looking to use isometrics to put on muscle mass or to improve your strength or to lose weight or to improve speed or endurance, there are different protocols for doing all of that and different ways of utilizing isometrics and different forms of isometrics, funnily enough, for each of those. And I'll be covering stuff on all of that as well. But in the meantime, remember to stay tuned to the channel, like this video, send me some love, let me know that you've seen it. If you have any comments, feel free to add those below. And make sure that you're enrolled to the newsletter above. Check out isometrictraining.com for loads of awesome content. And I will see you all again very, very soon.